Can you make money with tax lien certificates? What a great question. Let's cover that in this video. If you're tired of these traditional 3 and 4% returns, then jump into the tax lien world. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get 16, 18, even as high as 25% return on your money. Stick around, all of that's going to be covered. I'm going to show you how just a small investment in tax lien certificates can actually provide you and your family with financial independence. You'll see all of that come together, again, in this video here. So the question is, can you make money with tax lien certificates? The flat answer is yes. You can make a lot of money. Are there risks involved in investing in tax lien certificates? You bet there are. There are risks in walking across the street if you don't know what you're doing. So I'm going to cover all those in the video also. But let's just talk about, why are tax lien certificates so lucrative? Why are the interest rates so high? Let's go backwards. The county needs this money. What do they need the money for? Number one is going to be schools, roads, fire department, all that good stuff. They do not have a mechanism that if they don't have money where they can just print some or borrow, or that doesn't exist. This is the most pure form of government there is our county government. Their budget is down literally to the penny. Here's all of our properties. Here's the taxes coming in for it. That's what we can spend. So when somebody doesn't pay their property taxes, it disrupts the apple cart. Now let's talk about quantity. In all reality, the county does a pretty good job of collecting property taxes. 99.5% of all property taxes in the United States are collected on time. Okay, 0.5% is billions of dollars in uncollected property taxes. The county needs this. So the mechanism that has been put in place well over 300 years is the fact that the county can offer those up for sale. Now, how do you and I make money on these? You and I can put up the money for those delinquent taxes, and here's the killer part. They have to go to sale one at a time. So some of these big boy investors, these hedge funds, can't come in there and go, excuse me, and gobble up and take $20 million liens, paying 18% and say thank you very much. It's got to go up individually. Number two, the counties do them differently. And you're thinking, why am I laughing about this? Because that's an advantage to you and I. So you could have 50 counties in a state, okay, or 159 in Georgia. 159 counties in Georgia, each one of them approaches it a little differently. Why is that a good thing? Because I find that the more difficult they make it, the less people can figure this out. That's why I'm here, because it's complicated buying tax lien certificates. You have to know all of the steps, okay? So this is how you're going to make money with this whole process. So here's the deal. Even if you have a little money, I found tax lien certificates for $12. I found them for tens of thousands of dollars also, all paying the interest rate. So here's the rules. Regardless of how much money is owed on the property, whether it's 1 penny or $100,000, the county is obligated, you hear that word, obligated by law, to offer those up to the public. That's me and you. We put the money up to the county, not the property owner. We give it to the county. They're going to hand you a certificate that goes on file down at the county courthouse. That is a legal document that's going to bear an interest rate of, like I said, anywhere from, like 10% on the low side, like 36% on the high side, even higher in some circumstances. So why does the county charge so much in interest? Because they can. They need their money. This is their only leverage. So they've got it in law that says, if you don't pay the taxes, these are the consequences on it. I've had people say, oh, this is usury rates. It's not at all. It's written in state statute, so they can do that. Now, remember, the person has not lost their property. All I'm doing is buying a lien on the property, okay? In return for doing that, they're going to give me the high interest rate, and then the property owner gets what they call a redemption period. During that redemption period, they can pay the taxes off, plus the penalty, and I get the money and everybody's happy. Again, this is one of those nice things about it. When you're buying a tax lien certificate, I'm getting this high interest rate. Your underlying security is the value of that property. And I've talked about this in other videos. If that person doesn't come in within that prescribed amount of time, be it 1 year or 3 years, okay, and pay those taxes plus the interest rate that goes to you, you get to foreclose on the property, eliminating all liens and encumbrances on that, and you own it free and clear. Win-win. County wins because they get their money. You win because you get the property. He said, well, the property owner didn't win. Hey, they had 5 years to get this straightened out. I don't know any other debt that you can be delinquent 5 years. Now, here's the other thing. People say, well, why would the county just go out there and just sell the tax liens and they keep all the interest on the property when the person redeems, and they do it. This is a pure conflict of interest. Think about this. All the shady characters that have been involved in counties over the last 200 years are saying, okay, I know what we're going to do. We're just going to sell it or wait for them. They're going to pay us the 18%. If we don't take their property. They are not allowed, okay, for this. So in other words, if they foreclose on a property due to delinquent property taxes and they get bids up to $100,000, they're only allowed to keep what the county's owed. All of the rest of that money has to go back to the former property owner. So there's all of these safety nets when you're gotten tax lien certificates. So think about this. If I'm getting 18% on my money and I'm investing that money, you take the rule of 72. If you don't know what that is, you take the interest rate and you divide it into the 72. That's how quickly your money is going to double. So at 18%, you're looking at about 4 years, 3.8, something like that. So your money is doubling over. Most of us don't look at 18% because nowhere out there that it has this. This is locked in. Literally, that's your worst case scenario. That's assuming that you have the bad luck of the world and you pick every lien that redeems. And so you only get 18% on your money. Let me tell you something. You're going to end up with a property eventually. I had some students at one time say, yeah, we don't want the property. We just want to buy tax liens on these properties. We're getting 18% every 6 months in Chicago. That's where they were going. And sure enough, 9 months into it, they called me up and they said, Sean, we're actually going to get some of these properties. I said, I told you you were. That's why you follow the steps. That's why you make sure everything's underlined and crossed, and you know that the underlying value is what you want if they don't pay that, so you've got that value on it. This is how you make really, really big money on that, is you have to follow the steps. You have to know exactly what you're doing. Now, here's another key. You just don't buy liens willy-nilly at a county. What are their rules? How do they pay off? Is there paperwork that I need to file through the redemption period? And if I don't, what are the consequences? In some areas, they say, hey, if you don't file the paperwork on time, then you just gave us a bunch of money and we're going to bring that up for sale again. You need to know how this works. It's so crucial. There's a lot of sex appeal out there saying, oh, tax liens this, tax liens this. I have been teaching people how to invest in tax liens since 1995. I've taught more people face-to-face on investing in tax lien certificates than anybody on the planet. Kind of know what I'm doing. If you have a question, which you most likely will in this video, just type it in the comments in there. I'll make sure I personally answer it for you. Remember, the risk involved, this is serious. You have to do your due diligence. Just because there is a lien on a property does not mean you want the property. That's your underlying value. So when you're buying tax lien certificates, you're not just researching when do I register, how do I register, and how do they want their money. I want to make sure that I'm buying a lien on a property that I may eventually want. So in other words, I'm looking at single-family residential properties that's in a price zone that I like. I don't want to buy them in the ghetto. I don't want to buy them in Beverly Hills. You want to find that medium right inside there. Now, if you know commercial real estate, God bless you, go for it. Go do that, okay? I'm talking about normal people buying normal liens. Just stick with those single-family residential properties. Do your due diligence. Make sure it is actually a structure on the property. It's not 10 feet wide and 100 yards long. All of those things are key, and I've seen people make all of these mistakes. Don't do that. If you'd like some training on that, I've got some really cool stuff I just put out. I think it's some of my best stuff. Well, that's my opinion. Just go down there, click on higginsmethod.com. When you register for that, I'll also give you a free book called America's Best Kept Investment Secret. That'll get you rolling and get you those properties and get you on the financial road that you always wanted. This is Saen Higgins saying good luck and God bless.